Hi guys, welcome back to LTF1. This is the first video we're doing in a while because, as many of you will know, a couple of race weekends ago, Ishan did lose his father, so obviously we weren't in the right space to be making videos. But he's doing a lot better, his family's doing better. We're coming back with videos. Obviously, we're sending our thoughts on a prez to his family during this difficult time. And to fill in for Ishan on today's preview, we've got Jordan with us.
Hey guys. Yeah. I'm Jordan from the F1 YouTube community, Twitter page, YouTube channel, whatever. I just basically promote some of the smaller and bigger YouTubers, just sharing their videos, getting the word out there a bit. And I don't mind talking occasionally about Formula One as well. And thank you to you guys as well for having me on. I'm looking forward to this as well. Monaco Grand Prix weekend. It's good.
No, it's our pleasure. And your channel, if anyone out there, maybe, I'm not sure how you'd be looking at our channel and not knowing about others, but because we're pretty small. But if you are looking for other channels, then check out his Twitter page. You find gems in there, hidden gems, and the videos that are coming out are always good. But yeah, Monaco, it's a contentious one. What's your opinion?
I like it. I do like it. It is one of them tracks where a lot of people are divided on their opinion with Monaco, because with how wide the cars are in this day and age, it's very difficult to overtake the Monaco. There always has been that saying of you can never overtake a Monaco, and when there is an overtake, it's like the biggest thing ever. It's always had that. But in recent times, when the cars are getting wider and bigger and stuff, especially in the technical revelation of 2017, it made it even harder. So there's very little overtaking. So if you get pole position, 99% of the time, you're gonna get a race win, providing you get the right tires or you get the pit stop correct, Daniel Ricciardo in 2016. But for me, I love this track, and I do have that bit of bias towards Monaco because it is Monaco, and a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you like Monaco because it's Monaco, and I'm like, yeah, I do, that is true. And one little mistake and that's it, game over. There's no second chances. Essentially, you've got one, maybe two runoff areas in Monaco, but other than that, you make one mistake, that you're toast, you're finished. And that's what I like about it as well. But and I think if it was like if this was like only recently added on the calendar, then maybe I didn't have that much bias towards it. But no, I'm a fan of Monaco. It's one of the highlights of the season for me.
Same. I love it. On the channel before we've had podcasts, I think Ishan's on my side, but I know Raj hates it. He doesn't see the point. It's just processional. But yeah, I love it. It might be a procession, but around those streets, I don't mind watching the cars go through one by one. You're clearly a McLaren fan. I see maybe some Ferrari some Ferrari merch back there as well. So obviously we can't go much further without talking about the one-off livery. I love it.
I love it. Yeah.
And this is exactly what I'd hoped for when they'd announced Golf way back when, maybe a year ago now. I was hoping for this livery to come, and finally it's here. Bittersweet because it's only for this weekend.
Oh yeah, I wish they would keep it all. To be fair, I wish they would keep it all. But I think it is good to have these one-off liveries, because then we can kind of talk about it. And like we're like lucky enough to be able to watch this race with this livery. So then in the next generation of F1 fans, they'll look back at that livery and go, oh my god, that was amazing. What was it like to watch live? And then we can kind of go, well, it was actually pretty good. And then you look back to other liveries, like when Red Bull did their Star Wars livery and the Superman livery, that kind of thing. Jaguar did, what was it, Ocean's 11, I think it was, their one of livery, the $10,000 diamond or whatever it was in the front wing of the car and the nose cone. Like I wasn't an F1 fan to see that, but I look back at it and go, that was actually pretty cool. So be able to see it like this or as a one-off, it is very, very special. And I love a one-off livery. I really, really do. I think as well, it was good. I think if any other team had tried this to do that Gulf livery, I don't think it would have worked. But the way the McLaren livery is designed with the orange and the blue, the way it's shaped, it just suits it so well. It matches it perfectly. Honestly, no other team could do a better job than what McLaren have done. And I love it, mate. I just think to make it, it's full matte as well, which the McLaren car was anyway. But if it was like maybe like a shiny sort of glossy color, I don't think it was nice. But with it being matte, it just makes it even better. So I'm looking forward to hitting track as well. Yeah,
same. With the liveries this year, I think all of them, other than the Aston Martin livery took a second for me to think, oh, okay, I'm coming around to it. But this, as soon as I saw that first photo, the video reveal, I was wow, they've smashed it. They've got it bang on. And today they've announced that Lando's got a multi-year contract extension. Happy?
Yes, I am. I'm very happy. I was a bit surprised that it came out now. I didn't hear any rumors, because normally you hear a rumor like McLaren are close to announcing a deal with Lando Norris to sign a new contract. I think they did that in 2019. I think it might have been when they just randomly announced Lando was staying, so was Carlos. I think Carlos had a multi-year deal for 2020 anyway, but they announced them both at the same time. And it was just like, I remember they were standing in the park and they went, oh, we're staying for another couple of years. Obviously, Carlos didn't, but at the time it was like oh, all right, okay, fair enough. And that's exactly the same with this one. It's just, but in your fit, like, Norris has signed a multi-year deal. Okay. All right, fair enough. This is a bit of a surprise. But I put this on my personal Twitter account, and I've said it is good that McLaren have got this out of the way, because silly season will be starting very soon. And then with Hamilton being out of his contract, I was thinking of, is Hamilton going to come to McLaren if he does leave Mercedes? Like reunite the whole McLaren Mercedes, reigniting that partnership once again with McLaren on the ride. Will Lewis Hamilton come back to really push McLaren even further, then leave, similar to what Schumacher did with Mercedes, so to speak? But I mean, that was only going to be the rumors. I generally didn't think that was never going to happen anyway. I think Hamilton will leave and he won't go to another team. But I was expecting those kind of rumors. But no, I think Norris is doing a superb job. He's gone on leaps and bounds this season. And just year by year, he's getting better and better and quicker and quicker. And I think a lot of people are changing their opinions on Lando Norris, which is good to see, because a lot of people were like, oh, he's a jokey lad, he's on Twitch and he doesn't take the sport seriously. But I think a lot of people are kind of turning their opinion, going, you know what, he generally is a very quick driver. And up against a guy like Ricciardo, who, yes, he's not up to grips with the car just yet, but the fact he's beaten him consistently, it is impressive, and what he's doing at the moment is very, very impressive. So I think, yeah, to be fair, I couldn't really see Norris going anywhere to begin with. I don't think he would have been part of the City season rumors anyway. But the fact that it's tied down, both of them are tied down, that you just carry on with the job in hand and just focus on this season and then carry on for next season, which of course is the big rule change. Yeah, I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, that stability is really good for McLaren, and the timing of this announcement, it bodes well for Lando as well. It's a boost of confidence going into maybe one of the most difficult race weekends of the year. I rate his chances around Monaco. It seems like the chassis is good and predictable. He's going to have a lot of competition from Ricciardo, because we know that he can go fast around here. But where do you rate his chances for this weekend?
That's the thing. It could be anything. Like, depends on how good that car is in Monaco, I suppose. But do I go around and say podium? Because it's hard to look to anyone else to get a podium other than your predictable top three of Hamilton, Bottas, and Verstappen. I would like to say Norris podium. I would really like to say. I think it's possible. I really do think it is possible. So I might go and say I think he's got a good chance of getting a podium. But if he starts fourth or fifth on the grid, then I think McLaren need to do a good strategy. But I think Hamilton and Verstappen might be ahead of the field anyway, so they could be at their own game. It's up to Bottas. What's he going to do? Is he going to be in the mix for a race win, or is it going to be filling about in P8, P9 like he has been recently? So I think McLaren have got a really, really good chance. Of course, I don't know, it's all about the chassis. They have got a relatively good car. And not only that as well, they've got Ricciardo in there, who is quite good around Monaco. So maybe, like, not just Norris's chances, but McLaren's in general could actually be quite good. Maybe this could be a really close battle between Norris and Ricciardo, after Ricciardo did beat Norris in the last race in Spain. So Ricciardo's got that little bit of confidence coming into this race.
Yeah, hopefully it's going to be a close one between those two, and everything in the team seems like it's the same as last year. Even when Carlos and Lando were getting close, it wasn't heated. It was just close. It's just good racing. So that's more of what we want to see. Another team, do you think AlphaTauri are going to finally deliver on their promise this weekend? Because it seems like every race, it's like they just need to get it right and they'll be there. but they never seem to get it right.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on at the moment. I think when the season started, they look quick. They look potentially, third, or sorry, maybe not third, but the fourth quickest team, the fourth quickest car on the grid coming into the first race in Australia. And Tsunoda looked quick. Gasly, we know, is a very good driver. So I was thinking this could be a good fight between the likes of Aston Martin, potentially Ferrari. But now it looks like Ferrari have made a massive step in development. McLaren have just stayed where they are, so they're kind of occupying P3 and P4. But AlphaTauri, I'm just a bit I'm a bit disappointed by them so far. I was maybe thinking more that they could be challenging McLaren and Ferrari a little bit more than what they have been, because I don't know what the exact buffer, but it is quite a bit of a margin between Ferrari and P4 and I think AlphaTauri and P5. So there is that bit of a gap, and I'm like, it hasn't really gone their way in terms of Tsunoda's side of things. Gasly has been putting in some good performances, but Tsunoda, of course, he's a rookie. He's talented. He's quick. He will get there. He's probably going through that a little bit of a patch, you could say, if you want to call it that. Like I said, he's only 4 or 5 races into his F1 career, so he's not going to light it up straight away. He's going to take time. He's going to hit good form, bad form, that kind of thing as well. And I think he's got a bit of a hot head at the moment. Like, he's swearing on the radio a lot. He's getting himself wound up with little situations. But he'll learn to control that as he gets on through the course of the season, and then so forth in his F1 career. And as well, Gasly, as we know, like I said, really good driver. But is he fighting to keep his place at AlphaTauri? Is he fighting for another seat? And that's kind of where is he going to be fighting? Is it worth him showing the faith in Red Bull if he's not going to get another chance at the top team? Is he going to just be like, look, I'm not bothered what I do? I don't know. It's a strange one at the moment, because it feels like Gasly is being cast to one side. So is he going to put in them performances? I really don't know. But I think AlphaTauri could be a one to watch potentially. But yeah, as things stand, I'm a bit like, I was expecting, after the start they had and the pre-season, I was expecting a little bit more from AlphaTauri. But stranger things have happened. We've got a long way to go in the season, so maybe they could throw up a surprise at some point during the season. Exactly,
and the field is so tight this season. It's
incredibly tight. It's
the smallest of margins, from even Q3 getting knocked out in Q1 to making it through to Q3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really difficult season to be a rookie in a midfield car. We have to give it to him on that as well. And even Ferrari, they've done an amazing job to pull it back to get where they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say as well, like, Ferrari have shown real progress, and I don't think a lot of people expected. They haven't made like a huge jump, but it's an improvement, isn't it? It's they're not getting knocked out in Q1 every single race, or just slunging about in Q2. They're getting into Q3. They're putting up a fight for. I mean, look at Charles Leclerc. What was it in? I think it might have been Spain or even Imola. I think it was actually Imola, pushing for podiums as well during the carnage. So that was good to see Ferrari actually in the mix. Unlike last season when they were just nowhere, and you knew it was going to be Q1 or even Q2. If they got into Q3, they had a brilliant weekend. A brilliant Saturday. But I'm happy to see Ferrari do well, even though not a lot of people like Ferrari because of the bad strategy call and how they treat Sebastian Vettel and how they treat the drivers. I've got a slight soft spot for Ferrari, not because I've got that behind me. I just think when someone is doing so well, then they fall so far. You kind of want them to get back up a bit. It's like, right, okay, he's down. So when you see them doing better and they're slowly making progress, you're like, go on, yeah, go on, like, you do that, but don't get too close to McLaren. By the way, just do well. Just don't do that well. Just leave McLaren alone in P3. We're fine here. You have P4. You had P6 last season. I think it was P6. Yeah, I think it was P6. So you just have P4. That's a good improvement for you. You just stay there. But no, I mean, I just think to myself, is Vettel kicking himself? Like, if Vettel was in that car, it would have been good to see Vettel back in the point as well. Charles Leclerc up against Vettel, that would have been interesting in that car. I mean, Carlos Sainz is doing a good job as well. He's a good driver.
He's doing amazing.
Yeah, he's quality, and I think Ferrari have got themselves a really good driver lineup until 2023, when I think Schumacher will come in at the fold regardless of what Carlos Sainz does. Mm-hmm. But that's my opinion. But nevertheless, I think Ferrari have made strides. But what gets me right is the fact that we're talking about Ferrari and McLaren battling for P3 and P4 just shows how far they've fallen in the best part of 6 to 8 years, which is like sad. It's sad, even though it's good now. If we had said this back in 2012, 2011, it would have been like, you're joking me. P3 and P4 for these two? Nah, that's not even possible. But it's crazy to see how far they've fallen. But now Ferrari are on really good strides at the moment, good form, and I'm excited to see this battle between Ferrari and McLaren. Yeah,
exactly. So am I. And you mentioned Vettel. He might be kicking himself because Aston Martin Racing Point seems to have taken a step back this year, and it's probably going to be a season of hurt for them with the updated regs really going at them on that one. And I guess he's just going to have to weather this season out and see if he wants to continue into the new regs.
Yeah, exactly. I think Vettel just. I think if Ferrari had a good season last season, I think Vettel might have looked further afield because the relationship was sour. Probably even from 2019. Even probably when Charles Leclerc signed on that dotted line to go to Ferrari, I think we kind of thought this was going to be coming because Ferrari sort of did this towards the end of Schumacher's career as well, and then with Alonso. So it was kind of history repeating itself with Vettel. Even though Alonso and Vettel didn't hit the height of Schumacher, they were still a well-known driver in Ferrari and still well-established. But they kind of just cast them aside, and Vettel got brought in. To obviously Alonso went. Charles Leclerc came in alongside Vettel. We knew it was going to be, it's going to be interesting nonetheless. Charles Leclerc wiped the floor with Vettel, no problem. Vettel did put in some good performances, but Charles Leclerc ultimately was the better driver and the clear number one. Doesn't matter what Ferrari say. Even though I remember in the 2019 car launch release, they said, "Oh yeah, we've got equal driver. Vettel's going to get priority." It's like, no. Don't even give us that. Like, Charles Leclerc is the next generation. He's the next one of the potentially your next world champion, and I think he could do that. I think he's good enough to do it. But obviously, Ferrari need to give him a good car to do that. And then obviously, like I said, if Vettel had a good season, I think you probably would have left anyway because, like I said, bad relationships. And go to Aston Martin. We all thought it was going to be good. A lot of people were excited about Aston Martin. The season Racing Point had in 2020, the regulations. Like Grosjean admitted in, I don't know if you heard his Beyond the Grid when he was talking about his crash and his life in Indy. He basically said the rules, the new regs, were to slow Mercedes down. So if you take that into account, when the Racing Point car is basically an old 2019 car with the 2020 suspension now, it slowed it right down and it's horrible. Yeah. It's a struggle to drive. So I think Aston Martin could struggle a lot in Monaco. So and I remember, I think it was in Spain, I think they said that they brought some upgrades where it might get us into Q3 or it will get us into Q3, and both cars got knocked out in Q2. So I'm like, it just seems like Ferrari all over again on false promises. But I've been a Vettel fan recently because like I want to I'm gunning for Vettel, just like go on Vettel, just get there, just prove them all wrong because exactly. I'm backing Vettel all the way to the bank here essentially.
I just want to see him finish his career on a decent note. Yeah. Not on he's been pushed out of the sport or anything like that. I just want to see him end his career happy, really, to be honest with you.
I do.
And hopefully he gets that.
Yeah, I grew up when I became a full-on F1 fan in 2010 at the start of the dominance of Red Bull and Sebastian Vettel. So I've grown up hating Sebastian Vettel when I was younger. So when you've got these young fans hating Lewis Hamilton because he's winning all the time, I was like that, but with Sebastian Vettel. And I 100% know I am not the only one with that who grew up in the same generation as me. But then as time went on, you don't hate drivers, you just kind of respect everyone, you like everyone, apart from one in particular. And then when Vettel kind of is at the lower that he was, I really wanted him to do well. Like when he got his podium in Turkey, it was very lucky he got it, but he got it, and I was over the moon for him when he got his win in Singapore in 2019. I was over the moon for him. He got lucky in that sense, but never mind, he still got it. Again, Charles Leclerc could have won that one 3 years in a row. Best strategy for Charles, but something went wrong on Ferrari's side. Vettel won the race. So and now I'm going, come on, Vettel. Like I want to see, like you, I want to see his career end on a high, because a lot of people are disrespecting Vettel, like the newer fans, and I'm like, nah. I think he has lost a little bit of speed. So he wasn't the driver he once was, but I think if you give him a good car, he can do great things in it. And I just wish Aston Martin had a better car for him. If he was driving last year's car, goodness knows what he could have done in that. So I was last season. I was proper like, if you give Vettel that car, he will do well. He will perform. But now he's got a bad car again. It's like, oh, for God's sake. It feels like Fernando Alonso. I don't know about you. When Alonso was like, everywhere he kind of, the bad luck followed
that
Alonso.
luck's just following him, yeah.
And then he went to McLaren. And then I learned recently that apparently he was going to join Honda in 2008, but because of the financial crash, he didn't. But if he did, he could have been driving a Brawn for 2009. You know what I mean? Just honestly.
Yeah. If that's true, then he has got the worst luck.
Yeah, I think Vettel is kind of replicating that as well. So no look at Ferrari and going off elsewhere and not doing anything else.
Well, to be honest with you, you know, if you hadn't just mentioned Alonso, I'd have forgot about him, because Alonso and the Alpine have been so forgettable this season.
Yeah, honestly, I same with me.
It's just like there's just nothing.
I mean, like, there was obviously that massive hype when in pre-season testing with Alonso there, and all right, we're all watching him and how is he going to perform, but they're just. I think he got into Q3 in Bahrain, which was very impressive on Alonso's behalf, by the way. But I think because of that, a lot of people looking at Alonso going, oh, he's underperforming. Hang on a minute. Let's give Esteban a bit of love here, because he is doing very, very well against Alonso, because everybody wrote Esteban off, went, nowhere in the world is he going to do better than Alonso. He is doing better than Alonso. And I think qualified him. Oh, what race was it? Was it Spain?
I think it was Spain that he out-qualified.
Spain or Portugal, I can't remember. It was one of them where he out-qualified Alonso. That was the first time Alonso had been out-qualified by a teammate since Malaysia 2017.
Yes, for a long time.
Yeah, I think it might have been Van Dorn out-qualified him, and it hasn't been. Might have even been before that. Don't quote me on that, but it was a very long time since Alonso was out-qualified by a teammate, and Ocon's did it, but no one's talking about it. Everyone's keeping quiet. So yeah, like I agree. I think Alonso's gone like under the radar massively. So have Alpine, really. Alpine have. So speaking, like I said, let's give Esteban a bit of love, because he's doing well.
Yeah, and he's still in the running. We forget, but he is still in the running for the second Mercedes seat, even though it looks like Russell's a shoe-in. Toto Wolff's still Esteban Ocon's on manager. So yeah, hopefully they can give him a space to just shine, because I was one of the people that were quite sad when he left the sport, when he got kind of kicked out of Racing Point. But it's good to see him doing well.
Yeah, I used to be a massive, like, not like a massive fan. I was a fan of Esteban, but I mean, last year he didn't really do much. But to be fair, I say he didn't do. He did okay. Well, he did okay against Ricciardo. He kind of got a little bit demolished. Actually, I take that back. He got demolished by Ricciardo. But then literally nobody talks about his P2 in Bahrain or in Sakhir. There's two things that they talk about: Perez's win, which is a brilliant achievement, and George Russell in the Mercedes. Like, Esteban got P2 and nobody talks about it.
It was very overlooked.
And that is so good. Like, Ricciardo's 2 podiums. Yeah, Ricciardo's back on the podium. Esteban gets his first podium. Nobody talks about it. It's like, come on, give this guy some credit. And for me, he is one of the most underrated drivers on the grid, probably the most underrated driver on the grid at the moment, because of this. Little performances like this are going unnoticed. And maybe he is performing better because he knows that there is a Mercedes driver on the line. Russell, he's had 1 or 2 dodgy performances. So maybe they could swing towards Ocon getting that drive, pushing Russell to an Aston Martin or potentially McLaren. No, maybe not now, because McLaren suit their drive, sign their drivers up for a multi-year deals. But Aston Martin could call him, put him in there, get him in a better drive, a better car, better system, better team, and get him time to develop if Mercedes feel like he's not ready. And a
step up, essentially.
Yeah, it's essentially a step up, because he's been at the back for all of his career. So, and you know, Mercedes might be like, you know, we need to see more from you. Put Ocon in, let's see what he can do. So, but alongside who though? Alongside who? Hamilton or someone else? Could be Russell.
Maybe
might be
Russell.
Ocon Russell.
Like, that would be
Russell,
that would be a shock to many people's systems. But look, we've done most of the teams. Now it's time to move on to everyone's favorite team on the grid, Haas. I can see problems for them this weekend. Big problems for them. They've not got a great car. 2 rookies around the tightest street circuit. It's going to be very difficult. Just for the team, for Haas fans, if there are any Haas fans left out there.
If there is any.
Yeah. And I can also see possibly Mazepin clashing with the leaders while he's getting lapped, or clashing with the midfield while he's getting lapped, and causing a real incident.
Yeah, I mean, if you say that about any other driver, you might be like, nah, you've been a bit harsh, you've been a bit this, bit that. But with Mazepin's record, and even during the blue flags at tracks where it is easy to overtake, like, what was it? I think he nearly hit Perez in Portimao. It's going through blue flags as well. He's done that with a couple of drivers as well. I think it might have been one of the Alpines in Imola, I think it was. So he's done silly little things like that where he's not even paying attention to blue flags and where he is, and he even said that I'm struggling. How are you struggling? Like, you know where you are, you know you've got blue flags. Your engineer should be telling you, by the way, Hamilton's coming up behind you, move out the way in the next 2 corners. Like, just move aside. It's
not as if he's fighting for anything either. Sometimes in the midfield, and they don't want to move over, it makes sense. They're fighting for position as well. They're fighting for points.
Exactly.
But he's fighting for nothing. Just pull over.
Exactly. He's fighting for, I don't know, not to be the slowest guy. Well, not to be the slowest on the track, but he is. So what's the point? But I think we all knew Haas was going to be slow anyway from the word go, especially when they said that we're not going to develop the car at all in 21. We're going to look at 2022, which makes perfect sense in my opinion, because like, what have Haas got to fight for now? Like, what's the best going to do? What, P9, P8?
If that would be a miracle weekend.
Try and get the rivals, maybe. Yeah, like, try and get ahead of the game, ahead of like the Alfa Romeo, Williams, potentially that, AlphaTauri, maybe Alpine, if they want to do that, and go back to the way they were, like the form they had in 2018, because Haas can do that, and they have shown that. Haas have been like that, the underdogs essentially, where they were just like, well, we're taking it, and we're going in all guns blazing. In 2018 was a brilliant season for them, and at one point they were everyone's second favorite team because they were doing so well, but then they made some stupid decisions. I mean, the Rich Energy thing didn't really help them. It wasn't really their fault, but that kind of dented their reputation a bit. Then they dropped with Grosjean and Magnussen employing Nikita Mazepin, Russian money as well. Potentially Dmitry Mazepin could be buying the team. So yeah, the future is a little bit bleak for Haas, but we never know. Things might happen, things might change. But I think Mick Schumacher is, again, we'll talk about him. I mean, of course, he's going to have a struggle of his season. He's not going to do much. All he's got to do is just beat Mazepin. That's all he's got to do. He had a few scraps with what was it, Latifi? I think it was in Portugal, which was, but that was good to see. But other than that, I'm not really expecting a lot from Mick. I don't think he'll score any points unless there's absolute carnage. I'm talking like 10, 11 retirements, and potentially could get some points, or maybe like a last minute safety car, or I don't know. He needs a lot of luck. He won't get down that outright pace. Like, he needs a lot of luck to be able to score some points this season. But maybe has a good race, couple of drivers shifting places because of penalties. He could get points that way, but I don't think he'll be high enough. So, but yeah, he needs like a mad race if he wants to score some points. But I suppose it's good that he kind of learn his craft, learn tracks, learn how drivers work, what works best for him. So he's got no expectation anymore, because like, he's got a bad car. So what's he going to do with it? He's not. If he was in like maybe an Alfa Romeo, perhaps maybe there is more pressure on him because that is a better car than the Haas. So maybe there will be that bit more pressure. But maybe going to Haas, it's like no one's going to pressure him anymore. It's like, well, what's the point? Like,
he just needs to keep his head down.
He's just don't make any silly mistakes. Don't like run into people. Don't get in the way of people. Don't make any silly comments. Just do your job. Just get your head down. Get learning, and the next season come good, potentially with a better car, or potentially with another team if he does go off to Alfa Romeo, which, I mean, if they stay in the sport or not, I don't know what the future holds for them, but it's gonna be interesting a couple of years for Mick.
It is, and he knows that Sainz is warming his seat up at Ferrari. It's just a matter of time before he's ready, if he gets to that level. So there's not that much pressure on his shoulders. It's just it's learning, and it's keeping his head down. But now we move on to the predictions. Normally we do top three. At
Okay.
Monaco, you'd think top three would be a bit too easy to predict. So let's just go with biggest surprise of the weekend.
Biggest surprise of the weekend. I'm going to say, let's go for. I'll tell you what. Let's go for Aston. I'm gonna go for Vettel. I'm gonna go for Vettel on this one. Just like talking about this before. I think Aston Martin's again. Obviously, the chassis as well. Like I said, they might not do well as well. But then again, like I said, stranger things have happened. So maybe Aston Martin could rock up. Maybe they've brought some more developments, or maybe they've better understood their upgrades that they brought in for Spain. Maybe that does help the car a bit, because Vettel did have a good run in qualifying. It's just his race pace went out the window. But in Monaco, it is difficult to overtake. So if Vettel gets a good qualifier, like good starting position in Monaco, has a really good run, maybe he could score some decent points this weekend. And I think that would be a surprise for many, just seeing the form that he has been on. So maybe he could be a one to watch essentially, and like surprise of the weekend. Williams, they celebrate their 750th Grand Prix this weekend. George Russell in the points, anyone? That's a surprise. Latifi, perhaps? Let's go for Latifi in the points as well. Ooh. Why not? Just to spice things up a bit. Latifi before Russell in the points. I don't know. Again, come at me in the comments, but that sounds good. I'm going to go, no. Scrap the Vettel one. I'm going to go for Latifi in the points. Just to rive things up. Come on, Latifi. And Russell. But Latifi.
I don't think Ishan's going to let you back on the channel after he sees this with that prediction.
No.
I'm going to go Checo outpacing Max. Out qualifying and then outpacing in the race as well. I think Checo might just come through this weekend. And
that is good as well, because Max doesn't have a good record in Monaco, does he? He hasn't got a good record at all. So
it's not been great for him.
That is a good one.
It's about time we finish the podcast, because my dad wants to put the Liverpool game on. So
no problem.
Thanks for coming on. It's been great chatting with you, and we will be back to twice a week videos from now. But yeah, thank you for watching.
Thank you for having us, man. Thank you very much. See you later, guys.